Welcome to the Bald Truth Leadership Podcast, where you get straightforward, no-nonsense ideas on leadership and growth, both personally and professionally. It's brought to you by the Chief Coaching Officer of the Peak Performance Group. He's also a brilliant and successful serial entrepreneur. He's a two-time author. He's a certified executive coach. He's a sales genius. He's bald.
Hey now.
And he's your host of the Bald Truth Leadership Podcast. Buckle your chin strap. Here's your host, Coach Rick Colster.
Hey, welcome to the Bald Truth Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Rick Colster. Remember to like and subscribe below. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube video, every one of the major platforms you can get it, every episode. We have a fun one today. You know, folks, we're trying to stay true to our vision of bringing you the best leadership ideas, powerful and dynamic leaders. And today, we might be stepping outside the box a little bit, the normal boundaries. Today, I am pumped up for this show. We're a month away from 2022, a new year, and for each of you, a new opportunity to become the best leader you can be. As we wrap up 2021 and the shit show that it was, folks, I'll tell you, I'm excited to bring the Bald Truth leadership that they're world leaders. I love bringing people who are changers of the world, and they're making a difference through their passion and their vision. So I believe 2022 is going to be a huge year for the Bald Truth and for our next guest today. Our next guest today, we have got the leader of the most dynamic shoe company in the world. And I believe that because I have some of these. I wear them. Today, we have the founder and chairman of Woobies, the best tactical shoe in the world. I got to tell you, he's a former Green Beret, former law enforcement officer, and I think an Uber driver. We're not going to figure it. We'll have to ask him a little bit about that. Okay. But holy hell, this man comes with some serious leadership experience in both business and the military. And he's a certified badass, by the way. He's an Army Green Beret. I'm going to pump him up a little because you know how much I love our men and women that serve our country. He's a man I completely respect and appreciate. But wait, there's more. After he did his time serving, he had a vision to give back. So he stepped out, took an entrepreneurial path, and started Woobies. This shoe company, he started out of his head. And now he's leading the charge of dynamic team leaders of Woobies. He's got some of the most dynamic leaders on his team. And I think they're dubbed the Death Squad. Is that right, Anthony?
Yes, sir.
I want to know about that too, just a little bit. So today, we welcome my friend, Anthony Aguiniga, up to the Bald Truth. Welcome to the Bald Truth, Anthony.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and that's a fantastic introduction. Thank you very much.
Oh, you can pay me for it later. It's all good.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? I mean, let's for military shoes, leadership. What's on your mind today? Let's let you lead this a little bit, and I'll backfill as necessary.
Well, I mean, I think starting off, I mean, there's so many directions that we can go and just make a bit off of it. But I think that the military service is one thing we can talk about, but I like post-military is a big deal right now. All the way from the VA to somebody that's just right here breathing, like a live person, myself. And, a lot of people have expectations when they're getting out of the Army or the any military branch service, and some of those expectations are not what they expect, so they're let down. And there's a lot of post-mortem getting out of active duty. So I know that, and I recognize that. With the intro, you talk about all these different things that I did. We talk about a several $1 million fast 400X growing shoe company. But like for me to get to that point, and I'm not done with that, but like it took several different things to figure out really what this was all about when I got out. Because when you're in, at least for me, I did it for the greater good, the bigger picture, something more than myself. That's why I signed and I swore 3 times, to be in special forces. But when you get out, I think there's a lot of people that get let down. So we could talk about that, and then intrinsically finding your purpose, which is basically what it sums out to. And it's just not the same. I mean, when you're in the military, you have basically your chain of command looking out for you, basically can babysit you if you really wanted to be that way, to the point where a lot of people just don't give a shit if you're in the military or not when you get out, except your friends and family or some people like you that you meet who understand. But you'd be surprised, and even paramilitary organizations, and I've experienced this firsthand, that people just don't give a shit. So if you can like kind of figure out your expectations when you get out and have that mentally prepared, so you don't feel let down where it doesn't affect negative decisions. It's something stupid like getting hooked on drugs and alcohol, or beating your wife, or you know what I'm saying, doing something stupid. You guys stay focused and realize that you have to carve your way out in the civilian world like you carved your way out in the military. So if you want to be a piece of shit in the military and be that guy or that girl that no one liked and always got counseling statements and on extra duty or whatever, and you can do the same shit here in our jail system. But if you want to be a rock star, you can do the same shit out here. And I would say that I'm not calling myself a rock star, but I'm an example of that.
Well, you know, so, we've had a lot of guests on that are some of the high performers. When we talk about high performers from the military, and like I mentioned in the intro, you know, I have a love and a heart for the men and women who serve. Never having the honor or privilege of doing that myself. So that's my give back, is at least recognizing and doing that. But to get to the level that you got to in the military as a Green Beret, that takes a lot of heart, takes a lot of gumption, takes a lot of cojones. That's the only Spanish I really know. But what it takes is drive. It takes dedication. And so for the guys that I've found that he reached those levels, whether it's Green Beret or Special Forces, Marine Recon, SEALs, whatever it is, they have this dedication to being whatever they want to be. They're so committed to it. And, you know, there's a lot of fun, and you guys have a lot of fun at Woobies. I've seen that. I'm seeing your new commercials that are coming out, which are fun, look like had a lot of fun making, but it's you're dedicated to excellence. And so translating that, I think, to the business world, like you said, you can be a slacker in the military and you're going to be a slacker out of it. But I think that's natural in life. You know, if you're not taking care of yourself in life, not even the military, you just general life, you're going to be a slacker in your business life. So to be an excellent, you know, think about that. I'm curious as to what do you think it was, that thing that clicked, that made you go in, made you want to be the best you can be at all times, whether it's military, whether it's in school, whether it's in business, whatever it is. What is that? What clicked? What was it that you went, I got to be the best. I got to do this, or I'm good, or I can't stand myself?
It's a good question. I don't know if some of it you're born with, or some of it, I know that if it's science, you know, you're going to say the environment, you know, a lot of some genes. I would say it's a mixture of both. I think when I was a younger kid, I was emancipated at 14. And I found I really liked going to school, not because of the classroom environment, but for the social environment. And I wanted, and being very popular for some reason made me feel like I had something to go to, like fulfillment inside, because I wasn't getting it when I wasn't at school. So I would actually look forward to going to school just for social means, not for learning at all. Like,
but that's, you know what, at least you were there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, I had this intrinsic gut wrenching fire, and I needed to find out what it was, where this was going to be useful for. I knew I was born, and this was even when I'm a young kid, but music and soccer, and eventually just going into the military, that's where it clicked. So to answer your question, physically, it was when I shipped off the basic training. But intrinsically, it was while I was in basic training, like probably within the first couple of weeks, I was like, wow, this is actually something this is a platform that I could use to have the talent that I was born, and or maybe that shaped me, the fire that I wanted to really throw fuel on. The Army was the platform that gave me the ability to be the vessel to do this impact that I felt that I had. And because like the drill sergeants tells everybody day one, like, this is whatever you want to make it. Like, this military, it will give you whatever. If you want to take it you want to be the sergeant major of the Army, shoot, you can make it happen. You can get up there. If you want to, like I said, be a shitbag, you can be a shitbag. But I was like, wow, it's true. And I was really good at it. It was fundamentally easy for me, disciplined, bigger picture. I didn't even have the answers why. But then I was like, dude, this is great. I want more. I want more. And I knew that in my mind that I was going to do this regardless of the rest of my life. Whether I knew I was going to be anything that I got like, I had this personality that could be a problem or a strength. And one of the traits is, it's probably a mutation, but it's like I get really, if I get fixated on something, obsessed almost even on something positive, I'll do it. It could be a fucking astronaut, or it could be a janitor. But if I want to do it, I'll do it. And that's, if you look at the timeline of my goals and achievements, you'll see that it's true. Like,
so how important that you mentioned that in my coaching, everything I do when I work with clients all the time, we always stress the importance of having goals. So you touched on that. And so what's the importance to you of having those goals? Not what they are, but just having them there. Now, how did that help you? And how much did it help you more rather than not having goals? I don't know.
To be honest with you, I didn't even technically know what a goal was until I went to business school. Like a SMART goal, sustainable, measurable, attainable. But I had these visions that were goals. And what I found out later on in the Army, though, that there were plans that you had to have, but if things go to shit, and then you have something at least to fall back on, which is your goal. So in the very primitive matter, my goal was to be the honor graduate in basic training. I set myself for that goal. Then when 3 weeks later, they gave me the leadership role, like, the platoon guy, assistant platoon guy, where you're marching the kids and you have the sergeant stripes on. And usually everybody gets rotated. Most people get a leadership role, whether you're the platoon guy, where you're basically like the platoon sergeant, all the way down to the squad leader who has a squad, all the way down to the guide-on. Usually everybody gets a twist, or most people get a turn of leadership, and people get fired and people get repinned. Well, they never fired me. I was like the only one in the whole, I thought they were fucking with me, but they never fired me from that position. They actually threatened me. The drill sergeant threatened me the day of graduation. They knew I had family there, and I wanted to show them that I had this rank on. And I wanted to be the best at that. And then I was like, when I got to my unit, I was like, I want to be the physical fitness, the best. So I wasn't training. I had the highest PT score. Like, I had these goals that were attainable, short and then long term. So I broke it up in two sections. It's kind of like when you go to a board for an interview and they ask you what are your long term and short term goals, and you got to be boom. Short term.
You know what I find interesting, Anthony, is you had them. You just hadn't defined them using what we use Smart Way at the Peak Performance Group. Smart Way. It's just a twist on SMART goals.
Right.
You had them, but somebody had never told you that, hey, these have to be this way, which is brilliant, because you had them. You wanted to be the most physically fit. You wanted to be the group leader. You wanted to find all that. You wanted to lead that and be that. So it's crazy,
Rick, because like I graduated honor grad, and then for the Patriot Missile Program, right, which was my job when I signed in, I was distinguished honor grad, and I was like, dang, dude, like, this is crazy. But then when I got into the actual Army, and like in the line unit, and got ready for the invasion of Iraq, and then experienced the deployment, the Green Berets, man, was my next goal, was my next short and long-term goal. It's a several year pipeline.
Sure. That's a long path to get
Yeah.
there.
So, but I mean, once I saw the first Green Beret in real life, which was like, either the recruiter that came to Fort Bliss or the guys like in Kuwait or something, like getting ready for the invasion or during the invasion. I mean, these guys were just like on another level, man. I mean, you knew it right away, like, man, they're in the military. Chewy. So my dog, man.
Good.
Yeah, it's my company. But yeah, I knew they were on a whole nother level, a whole nother thinking realm, like another opportunity, like another just assets from the military, and I wanted to be there. So that gave me another attainable goal, like as a young soldier at the time.
I love that. See, and I love how that and while in B school, when you went to get your MBA, you learned this cool little acronym, SMART.
Yeah.
I make fun of myself. Trust me. I'm the biggest guy. I'm going to laugh at myself first. You find these great little acronyms, and we use them. I use them all the time with clients.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember this, remember SMART way, remember this, remember the right. But it didn't matter because you just did it. I think that's part of intrinsically, like you said, that's part of who you are, part of your purpose. And we all have a God-given purpose, whether we know what it is or don't. It's still there. It's still the purpose. And that was every time that you went, hey, I want to do that. That was you moving closer to your purpose of excellence at all times, which is, I think, is a great transition to ask you a little bit about. You took a leap to be an entrepreneur once you get out of the military and served. You took the leap into being an entrepreneur back in 2015, I think it was, we were talking.
Yeah.
And starting Woobies. And how many people told you you're a freaking idiot? Don't do this shit.
Basically everybody. Like,
everybody's like, what are you thinking, dude? This is Nike owns the vertical.
Yeah.
You can't, Adidas, are you kidding me? You can't do that.
Yeah.
And here you are. What drove you to tell everybody to basically shut up and sit down and get out of my way?
It's a good question. I think half of it is empirically. I proved to myself already that I can do a lot of things. I put my mind to it. And that was a successful career in the Green Berets and in the Army in general. The things that I don't even talk about that I got to experience and get to do and work with, and places I got to be. Due to OPSEC, I'll just leave it at that. So I knew that business was another mission or objective or goal that I could be the best at, or be in that top 1%. If I really get fanatic, and I think that it's positive, something I can realize. And there you go. When you start talking about business school, like I basically chained myself down and basically put myself through the killing of myself and the torture of business school, the MBA business school at SMU, by all means, because I had that goal, and I knew that this is real. And this isn't like this isn't talk. This is actually performing and being at the time, being the best CEO that I can be to take my business to another level. Okay. And I have the background, credibility and network to be able to do it. And that's the other thing, is stacking up the military, that network that got me, and then network and special forces, what that got me, and then the network in B school, what that got, you know what I mean? And
so what's the importance of building a solid network? I mean, so if someone's listening right now, one of our future leaders, one of our existing leaders who's listening right now, driving down the road, that are thinking about that next step, what's the importance, would you say, of building a solid network, and how has it helped you? Yeah.
So when we go, it's kind of funny how this works out. It's like a comedy sketch. Like, remember back when I said that being emancipated at 15 and then going to high school and then not having a home life, but now my social was my intrinsic, was my fulfillment, was my network. It was my network. And then when you go into the Green Berets, one of the first things they tell you is the first second, the first day, the first moment that you show up in selection with all the other dudes and the instructors, that's your reputation right there. And it's the most important thing that you have in this type of work of elite people. So if you have that mentality and if you have the gods always favor you in a way, if you have good intention behind your actions. And for me, my network was really intrinsically back when I was a kid, that same fulfillment. Like, they were my family, they're everything. So you're going to make mistakes. It's not like Bob Ross, happy accidents. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you're going to make mistakes, as long as you don't make those same mistakes twice and you're a man of your word, and you at least don't lie, and just tell the truth and own up to, because, having a network is one thing, but having a strong network is another thing. And then having respect within that network is another thing.
Yeah. It's
So
interesting. People say it's not always who you know, but
Yeah.
who's willing to say they know you.
Yeah.
I know lots of people, but are those folks willing to go, hey, I know Coach Rick, and he's this kind of dude. My own motto, and I came up with this years ago for myself, is the only thing I want to be remembered, and we all have a lifespan. We have, that end date. I don't know when it is.
Right.
But at some point, they're going to be looking at me, and I'll be like this, my hands across my chest, looking up, my eyes closed. They're going to say something about me. And I just wanted them to say, he was a good man. To me, that's what my purpose is, that I do the right thing. And you've got this drive, man. And that's one of the things that I just appreciate and respect about you, is you've always, ever since I've known, you've had this drive. Now, sometimes we look at drive and they go, holy shit, he's out of his freaking mind, man. No, but you see the vision. So what was the vision? I mean, as you saw this, and I've talked to extreme athletes, we've talked to military, we've talked to business leaders. One thing that comes up is they knew where they were going.
Yeah.
And you obviously knew what you wanted to do when you got out, even while you're in the military, but when you got out and you started Woobies, what was your vision for that? What was that was your driving force that kept you on that path?
So I always knew when I was younger, I had a feeling I was going to be an entrepreneur of some sort. I started making bead necklaces and earrings and selling them on the side of the road when I was 8 years old, like selling oranges, like no shit.
Sure.
I always liked it, it felt good, making something and then having somebody basically reward by cash. It felt fulfilling for me. So like some people get it when they catch a fish or something, like for me, it was that. And so, I knew that this is way before B school. I knew that the shoe industry was so big. And this is, like I say, before knowing this analytics of people's growth and what's vertical out there. Like you talk about the big ones, but I didn't know they're all billion-dollar companies.
Sure.
And I knew that somebody had to start them, and someone great, somebody who was a pioneer, somebody who couldn't take no for an answer, had to be able to have the capability to register that and make it like Phil Knight for Nike, and like these people, when all the odds are against you, you're still doing it. And I was like, I got this, I can do this. And I think that I thought there was white space now after B school, it's called white space, but I thought there was a gap, thought there was a market missing that wasn't addressed as a Green Beret at the time. I was like, man, there's no like sneakerization of the boot world. Like right now, people at the time are wearing like Chuck Taylors, like combat divers with their fins. Some tactical units or special operation units are using like black Vans, or like, you know what I mean? There wasn't really, and those were made by people probably that didn't live certain type of jobs or didn't have the experience of Blitz and Tweers over time to know what they were making, like who they were addressing it for, who they were putting a production line for. And so coming from, if I'm going to buy something, especially a piece of gear, I mean, especially my target market at the time, and even mostly now, we buy gear, we'll spend a little bit of money on some good stuff.
Okay.
And I want it from the best, and the guy who's been there. I don't want a doctor, selling carpentry tools. I want him to sell surgical. I want the best surgeon selling me the best surgical instruments that he uses. So I designed the Mod 1 was the answer. It was the boot sole. It's literally a boot strength sole. It's hardcore. I mean, it is robust enough, and we can go into the specifications, but it is basically the sneaker boot, and it first being covert, and that now it's a well-rounded universal shoe. But I knew when I was starting the company in 2015 that not only a veteran-owned, veteran-made doesn't mean better, but coming from that genuine spot in my heart to put it into real life and then to market it. My vision, like we talk about post business school, I know what it means now, on paper, on spreadsheets,
Sure.
and all the PowerPoints, but I had the vision of what I wanted the brand to look like. And that actually helped me build my Instagram to where it's at now, and organically, because I had a post, the vision, the visual of how people communicated with me through Instagram and Facebook first to paint that picture. Now you see our commercials, and now I could show you my vision even on a bigger scale. But I knew, Coach, right here, as soon as I started that idea, and I knew I was going to do it, I could see competing in my brain on a $1 billion level scale. And then through there during business school, I realized that it was very attainable for me to do this. And I actually was at the right time with the right opportunity, with the right problem to fix, with the answer with the right problem. And we were doing it now. And that's why we've grown 400% this year and last year.
That's tremendous. So you're growing 400% in the last year.
Yes, sir.
And by the way, what's your Instagram? So people can find Woobies Shoes on Instagram if you're listening.
Yeah, Woobies Shoes.
Woobies Shoes at Woobies Shoes on Instagram. So folks, check it out. I'll tell you what, I follow them, and they have some fun stuff coming up. So, and we chatted before, and he's got some pretty cool ideas and marketing stuff, but he's really pulling out. And everyone that's part of your team, these are real deal. These guys actually will use the shoes in real life situations. I mean, you've got some special operators that are on your board that are working for your company that are representing your company out there, Woobies out there. They get out and use them every single day. I mean, I love mine. I go out and I shoot and I use them. I love that. And they work, and folks, so just check them out. So
and they're made in America, and the Mod 1s are made in America, which helps.
And they're made in America. They're veteran-owned company, veteran-made, made in America. I mean, it's checking all the boxes, folks. So you want to get yourself a good pair of shoes. Try those Woobies out. They're going to be the next big thing. I'm telling you. But Anthony, the Bald Truth is all about leadership. That's what we really talk about is leadership. So let's talk about your philosophy, leadership philosophy. What would you say? Let's say if you say I had a style, what would it be? What's your mindset when it comes to leading? I mean, you're leading a multi-million-dollar company right now as chairman of Woobies, and you've got everybody from the CEO to the guy who puts the laces in the shoes. I mean, that's a pretty big, leadership responsibility you have. What would you say your philosophy? You say, here's my philosophy. What would you say it is?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm going to put it in words, and we can kind of shape this philosophy. And to remind you, when you're talking about my responsibility with the leadership and who are on this team with me, like we were talking about before this interview started, we're talking about I got Naval Academy graduates, I got pro NFL players. I mean, we got people here who have seen the best leadership in the world. In the locker rooms out there in the academy, you know what I'm saying? And the list goes on. So to be able to have the respect and have still the leadership, the way that I need it to be able to attain our goals is art. So my leadership is like how people kind of shape their leadership that fits their character and their lifestyle and their traits, their weaknesses and their strengths. I got a lot in the Green Berets in a good way. And, the regular Army too, but like I saw some really opposites. I saw some micromanaging where no one liked, says I'm about to raise my hand. Okay. And then I had some guys that were so lax I didn't even know they were there. The place would be catching on fire and you still wouldn't know. with me, I'm kind of like the guy that gives you so much rope before you start hanging yourself. But once you start making these mistakes, I'm the kind of guy that I'm like a sniper now. I'm all over you. And then because you've red flagged me already. Usually we're big boy rules in Woobies. Our death squad.
Sure.
We pick from the best in their industry, and so we're used to operating at such a high level. And responsibility and owning up to our mistakes that we don't really, if there's an issue, then it's snapped at the ass right now, and we're all hands on deck. There's no time to wait around on anything that can't be addressed. So it's a big boy role. I kind of run it like a Green Beret team, like an A team. Okay. Really fair, very impartial. I wouldn't do what I wouldn't ask anybody to do that I wouldn't do. Like I'm the janitor before I'm anybody. Like I was the guy shipping the shoes for many years before anybody even cared about Woobies. You know what I mean? So I understand what it's like to be that guy, like you said, shipping the boxes to working with the post office every day to now sitting on the board. So I understand. It's just like when you are in the military and you're enlisted first, and now you're an officer, like Mustangs. I've worked. So people, when they come and when they work with my team and they're a part of my team, they know that I've done every job on this train. And so I understand. So that comes with respect to experience. And then putting myself, when I make a mistake, even from where I sit, I tell everybody that it's my problem. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? So and you just said that, and something resonated with me there.
Yeah.
Years ago, I ran nightclubs for a year. I built a bunch of nightclubs back in my early 20s and all up until I was about 30 or so. And I bought my first restaurant at 22. And so the entrepreneurial spirit is there. So guess what? Just like you, I had to do everything. I had to cook. I had to clean the toilets. I had to bartend when the bartender didn't show up. I had to sweep up when the bar back didn't show up. I had to stock beer when, at the end of the night. I had to bounce a lot, and somebody get out of line, I had to take them out. So I've done every role from, chief cook, bottle washer, to toilet bowl cleaner, to drink maker. Not in the same time. I wash my hands in between that, but
right.
So, but you've done everything. But I found myself, and I was younger. I like you. I think I matured, but I was a dick at some point, because if you couldn't be as good as I was, and I was good at what I did, if you weren't as good, I'd say, get out of my way. I can just do this better than you. How do we prevent ourselves from turning into that really good, excellent, top of the line performer, knowing how to do it, and then having to be able to teach it and not be a jerk at the same time?
You got to be malleable. And I think when it comes to leadership on a high level, I'm saying, okay, like the level that we operate on a daily basis, like being genuine is everything.
Okay.
Like you can see right through. People can see right through, especially if you care about each other on a team. You pay attention to each other because you care for their well-being. So you can see right through them. And if you're genuine and you own up for your mistakes, we always own up for our mistakes every week, every day when we have our meetings and executive meetings and everybody meetings, and seeing that on the highest level, even down at the low level. And I don't say that in a bad way, but down at the lowest level, they go, shit, our leaders are fucking standing up and saying, hey, I'll take this hill. Hey, it's my problem, my bad. I dropped the ball on this one. I'm not going to let it happen again. And you have to remember too, like I set up my team and they all volunteered to be here, but I handpicked them as well. Like I got, EJ from the Ravens, been in with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, locker rooms and championship games and stuff. Like he won't let us pull any bullshit either. You know what I mean? If there's a problem, he'll stop. Like that's what his job is with the death squad as the chief of staff and stuff. So we have set up these algorithms, if you will, or barriers, if you will, to make sure that we are all walking the line from A to Z.
So and coordination, you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is the team has to be on the same page, coordination and accountability.
Yeah, and that's how the respect becomes. Because when you start blowing up in anything that you do in industry, people start trying to rip you guys apart.
Sure.
You guys are everything that you have. And that's just like in a team in the Green Berets, you know? So you guys got to stay tight. And the only way you can stay tight is by being honest with each other, being accountable, and communicate.
Okay.
You
I
know,
love that. Those are great keys.
Yeah.
Accountability, communication, and team first.
Yeah. Just like, you know, and there's a bigger picture. Like these guys that do great and women that do great in this world, they don't do it for them. They do it because there's this big thing out there they can't explain, you know, like a religion, you know, and everybody on my team, I could say, is there. Like they're there.
They believe in your vision.
They have to, because it's not easy. And we make everybody, our guys are tasked out all the time. Like Thanksgiving, we were off, quote unquote, but dude, our phones were blowing up all day. You know what I mean? Okay. And I can't make anybody work like that, even if I pay them on time, because they have to be able to be like, shit, I'm at the dinner table. I like this thing so much and I believe in it so much for all these different reasons, because of the way the leadership is and what they do and what we're doing. I'm happy working on the weekend, or happy working. You know, our team is buzzing. It's buzzing.
Great.
We're always.
I love it, because you know what that emulates is one of my favorite leadership quotes, and it was Dwight Eisenhower, president, general. Mm-hmm. Leadership is the art of getting someone to do something you want done because they want to do it. So your team's doing all the stuff that your vision, this great vision that you have for Woobies, and your team is out there. They're not doing it because you're paying them on time. They're doing it because they want to do it. Yeah. It's in their heart, and they're doing all the vision that you say, hey, I've got an idea. You know, that Martin Luther King, I have a dream. And now they're going, yes, let's do this. That's freaking brilliant, man. That's great. So leaders need to get to that point.
Well, one thing that kind of stuck with me was a case study. Okay. And it was Warren Buffett. And they're asking them, they're like, dude, you have executives that literally salary several $1 million a year. How do you get them motivated Monday through Friday, getting out of bed at 6:30 in the morning when they don't have to? They're fine. Their kids are fine. They're fine. Everything's fine. Like they're gonna be okay. Like that's leadership. Like to get somebody out of bed, you know, like that. Like they're working for something that they probably can't explain, but they feel it. You know, this is the same drive that I had to go when I went into the military. You know,
that's great, man. So that's solid advice, man. I appreciate it. So, all right. So I want to be conscious of your time, because I know your phone's probably blowing up. Your team's probably blowing you up a little bit. So any projects on the horizon? What's next? Let us know.
Yeah, I will, man. We have our high top finally going to be coming out, which is going to be like almost like a light assault boot.
Cool.
Lot cool. We're getting into not only dropping our shoes in different colors and like extending our line, but we're looking into taking a very serious crack at gear. And we're not just going to throw out everything next year, you're going to see some very serious gear coming out. Cool. And we're good at doing like specific low run, low quantity things. So we're going to do that. Music is always something that's healing for me, and I'm finally making it public. So I'm going to be dropping more music and growing Woobies shoes, man. You know,
you just said you just dropped something, right? Tell us about that. What'd you just drop?
So I've been doing music my whole life. It's something that helped me get out of a lot of mental dark spots, especially even taking my guitar overseas and stuff, you know, and when I would deploy, and I've been writing songs and playing in bands my whole life, but today is the first day that I dropped officially like a single. So I dropped a single, and I'm about to drop a title album next year, which I'll have more singles. But this is on Spotify, Apple Music. This is on everywhere, YouTube, Amazon.
So what's the title of the song?
Straight Fire.
Stray Fire?
Straight Fire.
Straight Fire. Fire.
And I go under Trash Daddy with the money sign. I know it's
Scratch Daddy. I love it. All right.
Daddy. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you for everything you're doing. You're someone to look up to for any leader or anybody in business or doing what you've done. So I really appreciate you, man. Thank you very much.
I'm not done with you yet. I have a couple quick ones. These are Coach Rick's bald truth questions. So
yeah,
there's always something I always want to learn, because we all have our message. We all have what we want to say. And it's sometimes scripted because we think about it. What's our 30 seconds?
Yeah. Right.
But really, I want to dig down. I want to know a little bit about you, and let everyone who's listening know a little bit about you and how you process. So I've got these 3 quick questions. Won't take you a second here.
No, please.
Imagine this. I want you to imagine this. You're holding a dinner party. You're holding a dinner party for 6, yourself included. That means you get to invite 5 people to a dinner party.
Okay.
Who do you invite, and why do you invite them? And by the way, you can invite anybody in all of history, alive or dead. That's the caveat. Anybody you want in all of history, you can invite them. You have to invite 5 people to dinner. You're holding a dinner party. Who do you invite? They could be alive, dead. The only thing they can't be is not born yet.
Okay, I'm going to take religion out of this.
Okay.
So let's go. This is like right off the cuff. So let's do Washington.
Okay.
That's 1. Let's do Lenin, 2.
Cool.
Let's do Musk.
Elon Musk, good.
Jordan D. Peterson, 4. Jordan Peterson, clinical psychologist.
Okay.
And then 5 would be I don't know, man. That's hard. Probably either Kurt Cobain or Bradley Knoll from Sublime.
2 good ones. All right. You got some good ones. And
I got music in there. I got some leadership, the pioneering in there, obviously. And I got business in there, and I got vision,
Perfect. I love it. So all right. Good one. So
what else you got?
We talked about that time. We all have that end of time. We don't ever know what it is, but imagine that they're writing an article about you after you're gone. What's the title? Not what's the headline? Not what's in it. What's the headline that's going to catch people? What's that title of that article?
The Distribution of Kings.
Nice. Good. I always love hearing this because I never know what's coming, folks. And finally,
it's either that or guilty.
Guilty.
No, but it's
like
really funny that you asked me that question because this is hasty off the cuff. We didn't rehearse this. I was hiking yesterday. I get a lot of my thoughts when I hike.
Sure.
And I'm out there by myself, and that Distribution of Kings came up for like a book title or something.
Good. Well, there's a reason behind all this. Make you think. And finally, what do you do each morning to set yourself up for success? What's your morning ritual?
It's not as sexy as you may. I don't hang upside down or anything, but it's going to be either. So I'll wake up, and then I'll get some coffee started, and then I will get my dogs. I'll let my dogs outside. So it's good. It's like up there before everybody's up. You kind of smell outside. You got to hear the city. Let them feel and do their thing. And then I have to do a straight up full sweep. I'm already probably doing it when I'm laying in bed, but of all my social media, all the emails, everything, sales, it gives me a good little read in, at least on the low level. And then I know where I'm at mentally for the day. Look at my schedule. Got to start off with some music, and then got to do some type of physical exercise. Now I'm talking all of this before like 9 o'clock.
Excellent. So, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So you get out, whether, as long as you do some sort of physical exercise, in my opinion, even if you can't run, there's something that you can do. Like back here, you can't see, like do like a, pull up in your freaking house, push-ups, kettlebell, just something physical that's good. And then realizing your goal. And that's the fucking golden egg right there. So if you can realize
your goal, I love
it. Your goal that's attainable, and that is success.
I love that, Anthony. I love that because me, I love to wake up like you. I get my coffee, and I'm going to give a shameless plug to another veteran-owned company. You know where it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Our boys at Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I start off my morning with some Black Rifle coffee.
Yeah.
Another great company that's veteran-owned that's really blowing up really big. And then I like to wake up and do some stretching.
Yeah.
Now, I may not get to the gym, may not be able to run, being an old guy with bad knees, running's not in it. But I get up and I do some yoga, and that's Ddp Yoga. Some of you may have heard of Ddp Yoga.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page, one of our Peak Performance's clients. He taught me all the moves. I've worked with him personally. And just that morning ritual to get that blood flowing. And later in the day, I'll go to the gym, lift, get on a treadmill, do something. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That physical fitness, that mental, it's mental, physical, and you got to have your coffee because God,
I just
coffee, man.
Yeah, no, I think because it's a slippery slope. If you don't find your purpose, if it's realizing a goal because you find you have meaning in your life now. So if it was to make sure that I send out a certain amount of emails, or I wrote a song, or I'm just giving examples, like I worked on a project, that a clock that I'm building, whatever. As long as I go, that night happens and it's time to lay it down. That day I look back and I'm like, do I regret that I didn't take advantage of this day to realize my goal? And that's one thing that kept me driven, for most of my life is having that regret. Like, shit, I just wasted the whole day. Wow.
Well, focus on goals.
Might not get tomorrow. So realizing a goal, man, that's a great, healthy routine.
That's a great routine. Well, Anthony, thank you for spending some time with us today. How can folks get a hold of you? How can they get a pair of Woobies? Come on.
Yeah.
Let's give you a shout out.
Yeah, they can go to woobies.com. Like just
woobies.com.
They can Google Woobies and they'll still see all of it. But if you just go to woobies.com, we have a full-time rad customer service lady, Carrie, who's watching everything. If you want to DM us, just let us know who you are, that you heard the podcast, and that we sent you, that you and I sent them over there, and we'll say hi.
Excellent. Perfect. Let them know that you heard it on The Bald Truth, folks. I'm sure you're doing some great holiday sales because this is coming out. Yeah. We'll probably be on early December. You got some great Christmas holiday specials coming out.
Yes, sir. We do. We have your typical Black Friday magic going on and new product drops, something that people have been waiting on for a long time.
All right. We got new products dropping, folks. Remember, Woobies.com, WOOBIES.com. Check it out. Get a pair of those shoes. I tell you, you will not regret it. Matter of fact, you will love these shoes. They will get you around because some of the best tactical folks out there, these are the guys that are the creme de la creme that are fighting to protect our freedom, use every single day in their training and in their operation. So, Tony, Anthony, exactly how to build the right shoes. And I know it because I wear them sometimes. So I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on The Bald Truth.
Appreciate you likewise, man. Thank you so much.
Have a great holiday. Blessings to you and everyone. Hey, folks, I'm Coach Rick, and that's The Bald Truth.
You've been listening to The Bald Truth with Coach Rick of the Peak Performance Group, the company that helps people and organizations reach their potential. If you're looking for a way to grow your organization, whether it's sales or strategic direction, the Peak Performance Group coaches can help you grow with their proven business acceleration process. Call them at 817-748-7425 or go to mypotentialplus.com and they'll connect you with the right coach for you. And remember to subscribe and like below. The Bald Truth Leadership Podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, and YouTube video. Hit like and subscribe to get every episode. Thanks for listening to the Bald Truth Leadership Podcast. And until next time, roll up your sleeves and get to work, and you can make things happen.
I'm Coach Rick, and that's The Bald Truth.